Hello everyone, welcome to this impromptu CiviCRM TV session from Veda. I'm just waiting for a couple of confirmations that everything's working. Just switch the cameras. So welcome everyone. Sorry, give me 1 second. Let's just see. So I'm just waiting for a couple of confirmations, but in the meantime, so we've missed the last two CiviCRM TV episodes that we had planned. The first one we missed just because of the timelines. We didn't have the time to do it, and the second one I had my COVID jab and my first COVID jab, and didn't really feel up to it, to be honest. So we didn't do it. That was last week. So I'm doing this week on a bit of a ad hoc basis. We're gonna look at price sets. So again, apologies, that's not what's on the most requested, but it's the only thing that I can really do that doesn't require too much time and effort, and also is quite useful. And often I find from clients and people that we speak to that it's probably one of the least understood aspects of the system, or in terms of what it can offer. So let me just see, has anybody come back? No one yet. I'm going to assume things are working. So we are live with this if you're watching it. So the chat's there. We don't get many people normally on the chat, so the main presentation, I'll take the chat away, but I will still be watching it. So if you do have any questions or anything you want to know specifics about, post them on there. I'll try and answer them as we go along. I'm trying to reduce the length of the sessions as well, because I've got a tendency to talk a lot, so they go on for quite a while, but we're trying to reduce that, obviously. And it's Friday, so it's not the best time to do them. So right, let's crack on then. So what we're going to talk about today and look at is price sets. So often one of the issues with the CiviCRM world, or any kind of open source product, is there's terms used that mean nothing to people from outside of that community. So a price set, if you just try to understand what that is, it'd probably not mean a lot to you unless you're a CiviCRM user or you've come across the term before in a different system, which I never have, but you may have done. So a price set in is really, it's like a menu, right? So it's a way to offer options on a purchase. Right? Just for the sake of simplicity, let's just keep it as that. So some of the most common examples of where you might want to do that are you've got an event you're running and you want to offer some optional extras to that event. So for instance, if it's a fundraising event, you might say, well, it's £10 to enter, and if you want to sponsor one of our animals because we're a wildlife trust, then it's an additional £5. Or if you need childcare, or if you're staying for dinner, it's an extra tenner, or whatever, So you've got all these options that you can offer, or you may offer based on user selections. Those can also apply to memberships. So if I'm in a membership organization, then I may be offering optional extras like subscriptions to a journal, digital assets, CPD and qualification certificates, and optional courses, and you could price in anything you wanted to. And when I say price in, those options may be free, they may have zero financial value, but you still want to know that person is doing that thing. So for instance, if I've got a breakout session in an event that I'm running, and I want to manage how many people can come to it. That's one way that I could do that. I could have a price option which is of zero value but has a set capacity in terms of attendees. So there's quite a lot of uses for it, and the more you think about, the more you probably could apply. There's some extensions that can also really enhance how it works. So an example, not that it's difficult. So we're doing these sessions and we're not supposed to talk about us as a consultancy. But every now and again there is something that's quite relevant. So we have an extension which is in the public domain in the CiviCRM extensions directory, which allows you to have different pricing options based on the role that the form is being fired for. So for instance, if I've got an event and I've got sponsors who can book onto it, I've got attendees who can book onto it, volunteers who can book onto it, etc., then I can have different forms for them, and those different forms will then present different pricing options. So I could do that using web form as well. But the key bit here is I'm going to have different pricing sets for those people so that they get different options. So for instance, for a sponsor, I'm probably not going to offer the opportunity to join or to come to the event, whatever. That's probably all included in their fee, or membership is of no interest to them. They're there as a sponsor to promote their products. So I might want different options, like the size of stand they want, how many of their organisation are going to attend, and things like that is probably more what I need to know from them. Now, traditionally, organisations would do that using multiple events. They might have 3 or 4 different events, one set up to capture sponsors, one set up to capture delegates, one set up to capture volunteers, for instance. That's really tricky, right? Because then you're managing 3 different events. You're not really sure in terms of comms and numbers, and you've got to collate stuff, and you end up going back to spreadsheets to work all these things out. But you can do all of that in Civi using roles, price sets, etc. Right, so I'm going to be saying etc. a lot, by the way, today, because my brain is in that mode. So if you do hear me say it, then please bear with me. Okay, so let's crack on. I have done zero prep for this, so again, apologies if some of it is a little bit disjointed, but I will try my best to be as coherent as possible. So let's start at the beginning. Let's go to events. So let's see what I've got on at the moment, because that'll give me an idea of. So there's no events. So let's create one, and I'm just going to do a paid conference, because the majority of price set use is going to be to keep it relevant, I'm going to set up an event that is all about how to use price sets. I don't know if it's one word or two, but anyway, it is what it is. And I'm going to start this on Friday, and it's a 1-dayer, and let's say it starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m. Right, let's just say as an example. And the maximum number of participants I've got for this event is 100. And everything else I'm going to leave it the same. I've got the Zoom plugins to CiviCRM on there, hence I'm seeing these options, but you might not have, so you might not see them. Let's continue that. What? Oh, would help if I pick the right date. So it's 28. So for our UK viewers, I am sorry, I'm running American dates on my default installation. Location I'm not worried about. This is purely about price sets, so I don't care about all this stuff. Fees, so this is where I do start caring, and I've only got US dollars. Great. So I'm going to do, yes, it's a paid event. I'm using the test payment processor. Again, at this point I'm not really worried about the payment processor that I'm using, and I'm going to change it to ticket options, and financial type is event fees, but I'll come on to that. So if I didn't pick a price set, I get something like this. So I can say Well, I won't do that. Let's do full day. It's $100. I'll make that $50, and let's just say that's my lot, right? So I've got two prices there, a full day and a PM only, so an afternoon only. Okay, so I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. My Mac froze, I think, and nothing wanted to move. Right, anyway, we're back, it looks like. So, I saved that. What did I do next? So, online registration, I'm going to enable online registration, and I'll leave everything as default, right? So, let's do that actually, because I want to show an example of what that looks like. So, I'm leaving everything as pretty much default, because I, number one, I'm lazy. Number two, it doesn't really matter for the price sets thing that we're doing. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So again, I'm logged in, so I'm seeing a slightly different user experience to what a not logged in person, anonymous person would see. I've got birth date in there. That's a custom field that I probably was using at the time to show something or the other. So let's click that. So I'll say I'm not me, I'm someone else. So as an anonymous person coming to this site, this is probably what I'd see. First name, last name, email address. There's my two prices, right? So for 70% of events, 50% of events, that might be fine, and that's perfectly okay. I might have some discounts and things like that as well, but we'll cover that in a different session if we want to talk about discounts. But like I say, majority of events, that's probably okay. Now let's take an example where I can book more than one person, right? So I can book 3 people, and I will do so the way multiple bookings works in Civi is that I'm hoping shouldn't be needed. I'm going to do a full day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. I think there needs to be a 4. There we go. Yeah. So I'm using the dummy payment processor details. Okay, so I'll book 3 people. So now I have to provide the details for the second person, and I've said 3, so I'll have to do the same thing for the third person, right? So that's your first kind of stumbling block. Often you'll run an event where you don't really want to capture the second and third person. You're not that interested in it. So an example is I'm running a fundraising event. I just want to sell tickets. I don't want to make it hard for anyone to book. Or it's an event that's a promotional event. Again, I don't want to make it hard. We have some events that are like careers fairs, or they're student events, and often universities or academies will book 30 or 40 tickets 50 tickets, and they don't know who's coming yet. So they don't really know who the names are. And again, before before CiviCRM and other systems that I've worked in, what you would do is you'd start building in anonymization into the system so that you can book tickets and you can buy tickets without having to provide first name, last name. But behind the scenes, you've still got these anonymous contacts flying around, and at some point someone needs to go in and provide details to who they are, etc., etc. So it all that all creates complexity, right, and confusion. So if I want to sell tickets, I want to sell tickets. I don't want to shoehorn a ticket into a contact record and create lots of fake contacts and try and make the system fit. So with price sets, I can do that. So let's take a look at how we can make that work. So I'm going to close that off. So let's go back to the fees, and we don't have a price set. So I do have price sets. So did we do price sets before? I think we might have covered price sets when we did events. So I've got this link down here. I can go in and create a new price set. So let's just do that. So I've got a couple there. So I'm going to add, well, let's have a look at our ticketed event, right? So let's look at what I've got in there. So here, yeah, let's not use that. That's a bit complicated. So let's go, I'm going to use a new one. So so I'm going to call this price sets event. And like I said, you could use it for contribution forms, memberships, sign-ups, or events, right? So price sets aren't purely about events. It's just the most common use case for them is around events normally. So I'll come back to this in a minute. So let's just say it's event fees and save that. So once I've created the container for the price sets, then I can add in my options, right? So let's add it in. So I'm adding some full price tickets. So I think I want that. The unit price per ticket is 100, not 1,000. I wish it was 1,000, but it's $100. And per selection, how many tickets am I selling, right? And I'll explain this in a second, right? So in our case, it's $100 gets you one ticket. At this price point, I'm going to say I've got a maximum of 200 tickets available. Now let's talk about the financial type. So another reason to use price sets as opposed to pricing options like embedded in the event is that when you're then offering an additional option, you often don't want that to be classified as necessarily as an event fee or a membership fee. Sometimes it's a donation, or it's a sponsorship, or it's something else. So again, using price sets gives me the option to classify that income into the correct pot. So if I do have integration into my financial system, my financial accounts, then the extract of information from Civi will be correct because it would have correctly split out the total amount that person paid into its component parts and pushed them to the right accounting codes and journals and ledgers and whatever. So again, that's often an overlooked part of price sets and one of the features that you have there. Examples, again, like transaction fees, bank fees, there might be sponsorship areas, there might be purchasing or publications that all live under different organizational subcategories or financial accounting subcategories. They might have that, they might not have that. So this kind of gives me all of that functionality from within price sets, right? So I can control the VAT elements, the taxable elements, the the gift aidable or tax deductible elements, all from within a single price point. Okay, so let's carry on. So another feature of price sets is the ability to turn on or off options. So if I've got some things that I'm only allowing up until a certain point, I can switch those specifics off. So I might say one of the options I might allow in my price sets is the ability to book some childcare or a meal or a hotel. But that particular option, I might want to turn it off 2 days before the event, because for catering purposes, I need to fix that down and put in my order. But that doesn't mean I want people to stop booking. So I could then disable a specific price point, so that I still can book onto the event. I can still buy a ticket, but I lose the opportunity to purchase the meal because it's too close to the event date. So again, if you didn't use price sets to do that, then you would be messing about with the event to disable certain options, and you're reliant on manual process to make sure you do that right. So with price sets, I can automate all of that, so it happens automatically. Visibility in terms of who gets that price point. So if I had options that I'm only allowing back office staff to do, then again I can add them in. So if there is, there's VIPs or there's certain things that I want to option in, but I don't want them exposed on front end signups, I can control the visibility of those options. Again, it's not something you could do just using straight fees in event bookings or membership signups. All right, good. Let's just carry on. So that looks good. I've added my full price set. Now let's just have a look at what that looks like. So let's preview that. So here I can say I want 5 tickets. Oh, I said 5 and then typed in 4. So I want 4 tickets at full price. That will be $400. So that's showing me what that looks like. Now I need to add in the half or the PM price. So and again, I'm making a quantity, and I think I said $50. I don't remember now. And the maximum I've got for that is 400. Well, that's probably a bit crazy. Sorry, participant count is 1. The maximum participants is 200. So I'm allowing 200 people to come just to the PM. Again, that's all fine. And this is the kind of option that I might enable closer to the event. If I'm not filling up the event, I might try and introduce a promotion to make it easier for people to book, to make sure that my event is cost effective. Okay, so that's all fine. So let's continue now. Let's preview this. So now I can see I've got full price tickets, so I can order 4 of those and 4 PMs, and I'm getting a nice kind of breakdown of cost. So $600 would be the total price for that. All right, cool. So let's add something else in. So let's say let's do so let's give the option to purchase a brochure, right? So if I want an electronic brochure delivered to me before the event, I've never heard this before, but I'm just trying to think of examples where that aren't meals and childcare. Trying to think of something else. So so where that might be pertinent is if I'm a sponsor and I want to see who else is coming, and I want to see who's presenting and who's going to be at stands. I might want a brochure of the event before I actually attend. I'm committed to coming, but I want to make sure I know what I'm doing on the day and who I need to speak to. So the maximum, so the cost for that is, let's say it's $10, and it's not an event fee, right? So I'm going to put it into the donation. It's not, I would have created a new financial type to put this money in, because it's about digital delivery of assets, and the taxation and the VAT and etc. works different in the UK. So I would create that as its own type. The participant count is 0, so this doesn't count towards the number of the capacity of my event. Just because someone's asked for a brochure, it doesn't affect the number of people that can come to my event. I'm assuming they're only going to do that if they have actually booked onto the event. So I can make the full price and PM price tickets one of those 2 mandatory. So they have to put something in it. They have to purchase one of them. So let's just do that. That's fine. Let's save that. So let's have a look at it, what this looks like now. So I can take the electronic brochure off and have 3 of those and 1 of those, right? So 350, and if I want a brochure as well, it's 360. Yeah. So I can see I'm starting to build out quite a. Let's do that. I want to just. So the default's ticked there, so let's, I don't want it to default, so let's save that. Done. Right. So now, yeah, because when I came into the form last time, it already had that electronic brochure checks, and I don't really want it like that. So, so now I've got to explicitly pick it. So this 310. All right, so that's all working nicely. All right, so let's just say I am happy with that. So I'm going back to my events. Just refresh this page. Because the price set won't show unless I do that. So let's have a look at the price sets now, and I've got my price set event ticket. So now I've picked that. The previously entered options are no more. I'm going to save that. And let's come and look at the online registration. Let's close that. And I'm going to say, hey, it's not me, someone else. Okay, so now you can see I'm seeing the pricing options to that, and the credit card information only shows up once I've selected something. And as I've got tickets now, I don't need to let more than 1 person book because it's not that sort of event. So I can go back here. I can say go back to the info and settings, and sorry, online registration, and say you can't register multiple people. Save that. Just going to refresh this form. So I'm not doing it. This is because I'm logged in. So otherwise I wouldn't see any of this stuff. But you can see now I can't register multiple people. It's just me. But I can buy tickets, so I'm kind of fulfilling that action. Where are we? So we're at past. So that's that. I'm trying to think of the other scenario. So if I was doing a contribution page, so let's go to manage contribution pages. Yeah, so this one I've got, total settings. Let's have a look in here. So here I've got my membership sign up form, right? Same deal. Got to general and student, just 2 options. Now, if I had a journal that I could subscribe to, or if I wanted to become part of the network, or if I wanted to get accredited membership, or any kind of options, how do I do that? So if I come back to here, then come back to the memberships. It's telling me I've picked the memberships and what I can do and stuff like that. But really, what I want to do is make it a price set. So let's have a look. I must admit I haven't done this in a while, so this is going to be interesting. So let's go to memberships, manage price sets, add a set of price sets, and we're going to pick membership, and minimum amount, we're going to do that. Default is this, so that's fine. So I'm going to make it a radio. Okay, so let's call this the membership type. So I'm going to allow general number of terms, one. Oh yeah, there was a couple. I'm just going to write something down because otherwise I'll forget. Okay, sorry, I just remembered something that I wanted to bring up. So I'm going to pick general, student, and one of those terms, and I'm going to add another one, which is lifetime, and one lifetime, right? So the first thing to note here is that what this is giving me is the ability to change the pricing for the membership type, right? So on the default one, I can't do that. Yeah, so I can't, if I wanted to run a promotion or run a different pricing model, I don't have that option on the straight membership form. So I can run it and I can say you can sign up as a student or a general, but the membership pricing is going to come from the admin membership types side. That's where the pricing is going to come from. So in here I say what the minimum fees are and what the durations are, and Civi is going to pull that pricing. But here I can see, although it's pulled it, I could actually reduce the fee level here, all right? And you know, I can make that clear on my form that this is a promotional thing, and it's something we're just offering for as a January special. And in that sense as well, I could just enable it from January and disable it, you know, at the end of this month, just as an example. But I could just enable it for a month at the beginning, and in that way we're kind of running a promotion automatically, using, not changing the fundamental setups of Civi. So sometimes you know, organizations will go in and start changing those membership type pricings because they're running a promotion. They need to reduce the pricing. So if you use price sets, you can get around that issue, and you can make life easier. Let's put it that way. So do I want to display the amount? Yes. Options per line 1. So that's just how it's going to be displayed. Is it required? Yes. So this is required, right? So I need them to pick a membership. It's a membership sign up form. If they don't pick a membership, then something's wrong with the philosophy of what I'm trying to do. So let's have a look at that again now. Well, I picked this. So how can I pick the... I'm not seeing anywhere where I can pick the price set. Oh, wow. It's being silly. No membership price. I have just enabled it. Alright, I've enabled it now. Maybe it'll show up. So let's refresh this page. Yay! So now I've got the ability to do that. So this is one of those downsides of a GUI that tries to be clever. You know, I've got to read quite a lot to work out that in order to see an option, I need to go and do something else. Yes, pros and cons. Anyway, I have a price set now. So now that I've picked that price set, these options disappear, and I've got required, and let's just save that. So if I come back, let's have a look at what this looks like. So now we can see I've got my pricing options, but they're at the reduced rates. So that's one big plus point. So let's take that a bit further. So we're going to add the ability to... so I'm going to make it... so I'm going to give them the option to subscribe to a journal, right? And... I don't know if this is going to work. This is going to be interesting. So I'm going to say, if you want the electronic journal, it's $100, and if you want, it's not electronics, that's a white goods manufacturer in the UK. But if you want a physical posted, then it's 200. Let's just say, see if this works. It'd be interesting. Are you going to allow? Oh, yeah, good. All right, cool. So that's allowed that. So now come back to my form. Let's just have a look at what the impact of that is. Okay, cool. Right, so I've given the ability now to say, yes, I want the general membership and I want to sign up for an electronic journal. So my total was 180, or I want the lifetime membership and I want to sign up for the posted journal. So now I'm paying $1,200. So what I'm doing here is allowing users to opt into certain membership options. So Tapas is asking a question about, can I have annual and membership payment from the same price set? In theory, yes, because in the price set, I'm saying what the term is. So cancel that. So that's the price options. So when I'm here, I'm saying what number of terms is. So if I had a general membership that was monthly, then I could make 12 terms for an annual and keep it as one term for the monthly, and that price option would be, that price set would have both options in it then. Or I could have two different membership types, a monthly one and an annual one, and then I could let the person pick which of the two types they wanted. So in theory, yeah, I don't see any reason why not, why you couldn't do that. Okay, so let's go back to here. So yeah, so I've created that. I've created options, and there's no limit to any of this stuff. So just go back here, the different types of. So I did a radio, I did a checkbox, and then I've got a select. So a select, obviously, I can. So a radio is like mutually exclusive. So in this scenario, I can either pick electronic or physical, but I can't pick both. Right. So that's a radio. A checkbox, I could pick more than one if there was one. So if I could have both of these, then a checkbox would allow me to pick that one and that one, right? Or neither. So radios are mutually exclusive options. I can only pick one membership type. Checkboxes allow me to pick multiple options. There's no restriction on it. And then the other one is select list. So that's where if I've got it's a bit like a checkbox. Well, I say that, but it's not. It's a bit like a radio, but instead of displaying the whole list as a kind of, as a presented list like that, I get a drop-down option. So a bit like that, I'll get a drop-down option of what I can or can't select. And I think the one here is, yeah, it looks like just single select, so I can pick one of them. Yep. So they're all the things that I get. So so the other thing to mention on price sets is that if I just go back to the ticketed event of this one. So one of the other benefits of using price sets is the ability to do something like a family ticket, right? So we know we're charging $100 for the full price, right? So what I could do is say I'm offering family tickets, and instead of $500, I'm going to do them as $400, and I'm gonna. I'm not going to count that, so that doesn't matter. And so I'm saying each one of these has a participant count of 5. So every time a family ticket is purchased, reduce my open tickets by 5, right? So in effect, I'm going to expect 5 people to come along. So if I preview that now, so I can do 5 full price tickets, but if I'm a family, I could do that instead, right? And I'm saving myself $100. So it's just to give you an idea of what you could do, right? So you can offer bulk discounts in the same way, and I might want to do that. I might want to present that in a different way. I might want to present that as a radio style. I couldn't really, because I'm offering the number, but I might want to present it in a slightly different way. But the key thing is I can do a promotional thing at the same time. So to even for tickets, I can offer a bulk discount without setting up anything too difficult. So that was what I wanted to mention. So some of the downsides to doing price sets. So it sounds like it's all great and everything will just work. Yes, it will. Discounts will work. We'll do a separate session on discounts because they're a topic in their own right. But some of the downsides are the reporting is not the easiest, right? So behind the scenes, all of this works perfectly, splits out, does everything it should do. When it comes to reporting and looking at event reports, you do need to normally install like advanced reporting or some of Eileen's reporting stuff, who's now a member of the core team. Well, I say now, but has been for about 2 years. It's just lockdown, feels like everybody is kind of stuck. So if you download the advanced reporting stuff, that does a better job of displaying what the price sets selections are. If you've got complex price set selections, then they're hard to report on because they're quite embedded. So to find out how many people are coming and have opted into the electronic brochure isn't the most straightforward thing to do. Again, we can cover this as another session if anybody's interested, but there's some of the downsides. Like it makes it, obviously with power comes complexity, right? So the more features you have and the more ability to create complex pricing structure, the downside and knock-on is always that people need to understand what they're searching for a little bit more than they would do if they were just looking at normal pricing options, because with a normal pricing option it's just displayed against the participants, see what type of option they picked, really straightforward. But with advanced stuff, then you're getting into embedded and intrinsic metadata, which you need to think about of how can you get what you want out as well. So my advice to it on this stuff is always try it out. So you've probably got staging or demo or test environments, or just run a demo, try it out, and make sure you can get what you want from the reports as well. So the front end will normally do what you want it to do, or as close as you can get. But it's the back end is when you start to fall over, and often those are the things that hurt the most. Is when you can't give accounting people what they need, or the event organisers can't get what they need, right? So that would be my advice. So that's it. I don't think there's anything else on price sets that I wanted to cover necessarily. Let's see, have I missed anything? Contribution, membership. So contribution pages, I might have like a fundraising page that I'm doing that is not membership related, and I want to offer some stuff out for that. So I've got sponsor a bear appeal, and I've got specific packages. Do you want to sponsor their lunch, dinner, breakfast? Do I want to purchase some bedding for them? I could preset. I once had someone say to me, like, in sales, I'm not a salesperson, but in sales, the better you package something up, the more likely you are to sell it, because people understand what they're buying. So for fundraising organizations, if we just put a form up that said, why not donate to help our bears, you're probably not going to see as much of an uptake as if you said, our bears need lunch and this is what a lunch costs them, and can you sponsor a lunch for a month and here's what the cost is. You're probably going to get a better uptake because you've directed me into something that I clearly understand and can connect with, and so therefore can justify the purchase in my head. I understand what I'm buying. I can connect with it. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to work out how you're coming to your price. I don't need to work all that stuff out, right? So for instance, if someone said to me, why not sponsor a bear? I'd be like, what does that mean? Like, is £100 good, or is it really pathetic? Like, I've got no idea. I don't know what it costs to care for a bear. Like, I don't know what it is. I keep using this bear example, but we've got a couple of wildlife trusts that we work with, and they often work with bears. So the price sets then gives you the opportunity to say, well, I'm going to package some of this stuff up and offer it out as options on contribution forms, and make that barrier to entry very low. So the easier it is to understand, the more likely I'm to purchase. Same applies to memberships. So if I'm offering a promotion in the price set, I would clearly state it's 20% off. Makes it easier, right? As soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, I'm getting a deal here. And if it's something, a professional body, etc., then I have to join that organisation anyway. If I know that I can join at a discounted rate, I'm going to take it up, even if I was umming and ahhing about it at any other time. So, like I said, I will talk till the hills, till the cows come home, is it? Whichever way it is. So I'm going to stop now. If there's anything anyone wants to know about or wants us to cover off, then please do go to ideas.CiviCRM.TV. My dog's not here today. He is out having a chill out time somewhere else. My house is still a mess. There's a couple of V8 engines, if you can see out the window, for my summer projects. And other than that, yes, so ideas.CiviCRM.TV for anything that you'd be interested in. If there's anything specific about price sets, please do comment, or again, ideas.CiviCRM.TV for suggestions. Cool beans. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. Take care, everyone, and see you next week.